Hey guys, and welcome back to the Lion's Den. Don't know about you, but it feels like it's been absolutely ages since I've last filmed an episode, and this summer has flown by. And and it seems a bit scary that I'm going into year 13 in a couple of weeks. The den also may seem a bit quieter today because I don't have Earl and Lana with me, but I thought I'd film and record a little episode from my bedroom just to give you a bit of comfort before the start of the next year, because I know we all, and so do I, face certain worries or anxieties about moving to a new year, and especially for the new year 12s who are joining, whether that be from CNS already or new schools, just to provide a bit of comfort and just to settle a couple of nerves. But first I thought I'd give an overview of my summer. It's been pretty mental and a bit mad. So I went on an amazing holiday to Crete for 10 days, which I never thought how much I needed a break, but I did everything. I went go-karting, my mum went scuba diving, we went on loads of trips to beaches, we just went shopping, we watched the F1. Honestly, the list was endless, but I'm happy I just got to have a proper relax, a break, got to try loads of new food. I tried for the first time ever, which may seem disgusting, and when I found out I ate it, did give me a bit of a shock, but squid ink, like, it was a black sauce. I just tried it, and then I found out it was ink, which I never thought you could eat, and I'm not gonna lie, it tasted really good, which I never thought I'd say, but it was good, and I would have it again. But the amount of, like, different things I tried in Greece was just amazing, because for me, I've always wanted to travel, but I know the thing which always stops is always the cost. And when do you do it? Do you do it after your second year of sixth form? Do you do it after uni? Like, when's the right time to fit it in? But honestly, I think it's just whenever you want to, because travel is something which is a love for people. So obviously you do it when you want to. And for me, I want to travel so much. I've been to Rhodes, I've been to Crete, I've been to France, been to Belgium, been to Turkey, and I went to China with my old high school, which was amazing, and I definitely want to go back, because even though you spend these times in these countries, you literally only touch the very tip of it, and I think it's amazing to be able to immerse yourself into the different cultures and languages and traditions, essentially. So for me, whenever I go to another country, I always want to try something very authentic. So when we were in Crete, we went to a lot of authentic Greek restaurants, just because I'm not gonna lie, it's because I want to live the Mamma Mia life. But we'll pretend that it was for other reasons, but it wasn't. It's because I want to have my Mamma Mia film myself. But we went to lots of little tavernas and like little shops by people. But it was really nice just to immerse yourself. And for me, I also like to learn some of the language of the place you're going to. So it just gives you a sense that you actually want to connect yourself. So when I went to Greece, I learned that good morning was kalamera and good evening is kalispera. Thank you is efkaristo, and my pronunciations may be awful, and everyone there probably thought it was awful, but I feel good about myself because at least I'm trying to engage myself with everyone else. And I remember when I went to China, that was hard to learn everything. But for me, seeing all the stamps pile up in my passport is one of the best feelings ever, and I'd love to continue to travel. For me, I would love to just backpack across Europe and Asia and Australia. I'd love to go to, just anywhere, honestly. I think especially after COVID, when we were kept indoors for so long, it just shows that there is so much of the world you can still discover, and we are in such a small place that there's so much else we need to find and like look at and discover, that you've got to broaden your horizons and go for it. So, and like even in the UK, there's places I still want to visit. I'd love to go up to Scotland, Land's End, Cornwall. There's so many places that, even though I've been to other places which I love, like I went to Brighton and I loved it, and I'd love to go back, but then at the same time, like I could go to a new beach which I've never been to before, and like discovering it is amazing. And this actually links them quite well. One way I can now discover these places, I actually passed my driving test, which I never in a million years I thought was going to happen. Not going to lie to you, when I first started, I was shocking. I never thought I was going to pass, and my instructor said to me, he was like, yeah, you're going to be passed by the end of the summer. And I just kind of nodded in my head. I was like, it's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. I struggled. there was tears, there was laughter, there was anger, there was happiness, but the absolute joy in my face and relief when my examiner turned to me and said I passed, it was just all worth the hard work and like the hours. I'm not gonna lie, I probably did like over 50, which seems a lot, but I had no previous experience being in a car. And when I turned 17 in January, I was always like, no, I'm not going to drive, I'm not going to do it. And then my friend took me out on a trip, and I was like, actually, yeah, I'm going to do it. And even though it was the hardest thing I have ever done, ever. Like, theory tests I could do because I'm very much academically driven rather than practical, but the actual practical took me hours and hours of tears and just never thinking it was going to happen. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I did fail my mock test, and that put a massive dampener on me. But I thought, no, I'm gonna pick myself up. Went on holiday, came back, smashed out some hours beforehand, and then did the test, and I passed. So in reality, it was just my own confidence I needed in myself, and I've been lucky enough to get myself my own little car, a nice blue Fiat Punto. Her name's Pippa, and I've loved just like making it my own thing. Like, I've got my own little black cat in there, which looks like my cat. My own air fresheners. But now I already know I'm going to just be like the taxi driver for everyone. But I don't mind because I can go anywhere I want now, and the thought of that is amazing. And the first day I got up, my sister's like, we need to take me somewhere. I was like, all right, be fine. But I think this summer has been good because it's realised it's my first summer, or my last summer, before I turn 18, which is absolutely mad. And the fear of adulting scares me. Oh, it does. But I'm like, we're going to have to embrace it eventually. So this holiday, I've really decided to give myself a proper rest. I've been doing the occasional revision here and there, but it's just about finding the right balance and enjoying your summer for a change. Because I used to just think that I used to just worry and stress about the next year, especially last year when I was moving up into sixth form. I was worried so much about every possibility that could go wrong and didn't really enjoy my summer well enough. But this year, I've been working most weekends, just down at my steakhouse doing a bit of waitressing. I've obviously went on a holiday, doing some driving, meeting up with friends, and just relaxing in the garden, doing a bit of baking every now and then. But it's just been nice just to properly have a break from it all and just prepare myself more mentally for year 13, for what's to come, and then the future. Because I don't know about you, but when the A-level results came out, it hit me like, oh, that's going to be me next year. And then it's like the thought of, once you've got those results, you are out there, and that is the new life. And I know the new year 12 is probably listening. My sister is one of them who just finished year 11, and the thought of results day scares everyone. My results day was obviously earlier last year because of the tag grades, but it still was the biggest fear of my summer ever, and that's probably why I was so stressed about year 12, was because I was just stressed about the results day. And it isn't something to worry about as long as you put the hard work in and you did your very best. Whatever results you get, you know that you have worked as hard as you possibly can for them, and there's nothing else you can do, and you can still reach whatever you want to do. There's always options for everyone, so there's no need to worry and stress. It's good to show that you're nervous about them because it shows that you want to do well and you want to succeed. But there's always an extent to how much worrying is essentially healthy, because if you do it too much, it will take over your life and the stress will just cause more harm than good in a way. And I remember I came from Long Stratton, which was a tiny school in comparison to CNS. You go from around 600 to nearly triple the size in CNS. So the fear for me, my main fear, was getting lost, which I did many of times. And I just went up to teachers, even younger students, and just said, I've no idea where I am, can you please help me? And there's always a friendly face about, you can always ask. And I never thought this would happen, but in the first 2 weeks after that, I was absolutely fine. As long as you know, for me it was, know where my classrooms are, and then I will discover the rest of the school. As long as I can get to where I am on the timetable, then I'm fine. And I know it's the fear of the new school and fitting in and new people. And for me, it was also that there was going to be a lot of people who had already been to CNS, so I was having to fit in with a bunch of new people. And I went to CNS knowing no one, well, very few people from my high school, purposely to immerse myself more and create a new thing. And for the first 2 weeks, I'm not going to lie, I did hate it. I came home, I cried most nights because I just didn't think I was ever going to fit in, and I just thought I should have followed all my friends. But then I was actually like, no, Sophie, get yourself together. It's fine. It is going to be hard at the start. You're not going to make friends instantly. It's never going to happen like that. You will find your friends and you will get there. But now, after finishing year 12, which was an achievement for me, I've now got the strongest set of friends I've got. And we're all from different schools, but we all will just work so well together. And the memories and happiness I've now got now from them was worth the awful first 2 weeks, essentially. Now that I have them, now that I'm going to year 13 with them, I've realised that going to CNS was the best decision I could have ever done. And that was one of my biggest fears, was meeting new people. But believe me when I say that sixth form, it sounds so cliche, but sixth form in college is where you find your true friends. You find who you are because you're doing subjects you want to do now. Obviously, when you go from year 7 and 8 or whenever you chose your options into doing your options, you narrow it down a bit, but you obviously still have to do maths, English, science. But then when you go to sixth form, you narrow it down even further into the 3 specific subjects you want to go in. And I take history, geography and combined English, which everyone goes, oh, essays, but I'm like, yeah, but I'd rather do that than a sheet of equations, so that makes me happy. But you're doing subjects you love with people around you who also love those subjects, so you'll happily find people around you. Like, me and my best friend Liv went on the recent geography field trip to the Lake District, which was the best fun ever. The memories of trying to get people to answer surveys in 33-degree heat when no one wanted to talk. To be fair to them, I'm surprised I even got any responses. And seeing like all the processes in real life, it was just amazing to be able to have a break, but then also do the coursework in a immersive and way and be able to see what we've been learning about for so long, which was really good. And there'll always be opportunities in every subject to go on extracurricular things and just discover more. And the subjects, it will be a jump and a half. Like, I never thought the jump from high school to sixth form would be that hard. I remember sitting in my first history lesson especially, I very struggled to get into that and thought, I'm never going to be able to do this. Like, I can't even understand what's going on. It felt like I was sitting in a language of Greek because I didn't have a clue what was going on. And it does feel like you're just like in the middle of a massive ocean, you've no idea where to turn, and you're just trying to stay afloat. But it will take some time, and eventually you'll find your feet. And now you walk into a lesson and you just know how to fit in because you can pick up certain things and then you link it to others. And it's mad how your brain starts working in a completely different way to high school, having to work around making links, not knowing what that means, but doing that extra reading. And that's what people also used to worry about is, yes, you have your study periods, but it's finding the balance in those as well. So it's about studying with friends, studying on your own, studying on a computer, studying textbooks, and you'll find that right balance. You'll find what works for you. The first half term may feel a bit all over the place, but believe me when I say by Christmas you will have your routine sorted and you know what's happening. And for me, there's always going to be changes in every year. For me, obviously, I am going to be driving to school now, which is pretty mad. But there's always going to be changes, whether you are starting a new subject completely. So let's say you're taking sociology and you never took that at high school, or you're going from English when you did both of them at high school to just English Lit. There's always going to be new ways. And for me, something I've loved in year 12 was the NEA, essentially, because it's that independent thing of doing your own. And I just finished the first draft, which is very optimistic to say, of my history NEA, and it was on the impact of presidents on African American civil rights, which was the most fascinating topic I've ever learned about in history, and I'm probably going to learn about it even more in my spare time because I just loved it so much. And then for geography, I'm doing the impact of regeneration in the Lake District, which was fascinating to look at on the field trip. And then for English, it's about the language around the expectations of women, because obviously I had to take a feminist approach to my English one, but I'm doing it on the Testament and Women Don't Owe You Pretty, and it's been really interesting to start investigating the reasons why and the history behind the language, and you will soon realise that your subjects all link up perfectly, and you'll find ways you can use extracurricular activities to blend in your subjects. For example, when I found out about Exia, that amazed me that I could actually pursue my passion for journalism and like continue to do this through school. So you will find there's so many different things for everyone out there. And even though you may feel anxious, it's completely normal to feel anxious. And all I'm saying is nobody will worry about what you wear. I used to be like, oh, they're going to know that I've worn the same jeans twice in 1 week. It doesn't matter. Honestly, it really does not matter. Just wear what you find comfortable, and that's it. As long as you feel happy in it, then you'll be fine. And even though people automatically think that the year 12s are going to be worried going into the new start of sixth form, which is true, going into year 13 has got me thinking as well. Obviously, I'm going to have to start thinking about what I want to do after I leave. And for me, I was always set on university for years. And I always thought, yeah, I'd go to uni, I'd do the path of high school, sixth form, uni, and go from there. But it's actually made me realise that it's actually good to explore your options before you commit to something that big. And for me, I've started looking at apprenticeships more, especially in journalism, and trying to gain more experience firsthand before diving straight into uni and then not liking it, essentially. So for me, I've always heard from my friends, like, make sure you go to the open days, which I think is essential for uni, because otherwise you will not get the feel of the individual uni, because they are all so different. And the possibility of taking a gap year or apprenticeships or going straight into a full-time job, travelling, getting another job to save up instead, or just taking a gap year just to think about what you want to do, because if you're not ready, you don't want to jump into something that big. And it may seem daunting that this time next year that I will be thinking about what I'm doing next. Like this time next year, I could be packing my bags for uni, or to go away to an apprenticeship somewhere else, or pack my bags to go travelling, or start a job to save up. You don't know. I think that's quite worrying. Not worrying, but it's scary but exciting at the same time, because it's the fear of the unknown and you don't know what's going to happen next, but you've got to embrace it and just live in the now, essentially. And A-levels, I think, are going to be one of the biggest achievements once I get through, which it will happen, it will eventually, but it's also about finding the balance outside of school. So obviously I know in year 13 I'm going to have to start balancing my studies, but it's also good to have that social life. I've got a concert lined up in October, November time for Alfie Templeman, because I love concerts and it's good to reward yourself for working that hard. And I've got Run Norwich coming up, which is postponed because of the heat, which will also be an amazing achievement. But as well as that, it's meeting up with your friends and playing a board game with your family. Obviously, we'll have Halloween coming up, and if you've got younger siblings, going out with them or meeting up with family. And then you've got Christmas, and it's just fun. It's like, I always learnt by taking and looking forward to and celebrating a small thing in each day. Like today, for me, it was getting up and realising we had the certain thing in I wanted for lunch. Just the little things. Or watching a favourite episode of your favourite Netflix programme. For me, started watching Gilmore Girls, and I absolutely love it. Like, it is not a TV show you need to be focused to listen to, and that's what I love. I can just have it on in the background whilst I'm doing a bit of revision or I'm sitting with my friends. It's just, I love it. It's a nice little escape for me. It used to be Friends, and now I used to watch Umbrella Academy, but that was a lot of focus on watching it. But Gilmore Girls, it's a lovely escape and I love it. And I'm getting through the series slowly, but I'm getting there. And it just all leads down to one thing of change and the fear of it and actually embracing it for a moment. And for me, it might be something stupid like changing what time you get up in the morning. Like being told you have to wake up at 6 o'clock every day instead of 8 o'clock. At first you'd be like, oh, I can't do that, it's way too early, I'm going to be exhausted. But you adapt to it, and after a week or two of doing it, it doesn't seem that bad. And that's the same. I know it's something so small, but it's good to just see it small and make it into your situation. So changing, going into year 12, you've got a new school, you will be fine. It's finding your people, finding your subjects and finding yourself, which is also good because it feels like sixth form is a journey of self-discovery. And I know I sound so cliche, but it is. And you always have the people around you supporting you, whether that be with what you want to do later, your mental health, your physical health. Everyone around you is there to support you. And if you are struggling, it's always good to just let you know. And for me, when I started during sixth form, I started liking caffeine. Coffee was my go-to. And it's just little things like that. And I know for year 13, it'll be the change of, it's just gaining that more responsibility and self-independence for over the years, which you have done over time. Just think when you went from primary school to high school, it's just like that jump. You may not remember that jump that well as now, but it's exactly the same, and you adapted to it, and you will adapt to it now. Sixth form, year 12 has been my favourite year so far, and I already know that it's gone so quickly, and I know year 13 will go just as quick or even faster, which is scary to think that it's over so quickly, but the 2 years in sixth form will be the most fun you ever have. And change may be uncomfortable, and it's something I always struggled with. I always used to stick to a certain routine and didn't shy away from it and always kept going with the same thing. But similarity sometimes is good, but to a certain extent, having too much of it is actually dangerous, and change may seem uncomfortable and daunting and worrying, when in reality change is something we all need, because without it we won't be able to embrace these new ways. So for me, if I hadn't changed, I remember when I signed up for Run Norwich, I was like, I'm never going to be able to do this, but it's something to embrace, it's a new challenge, and if you don't challenge yourself, then you'll never be able to grow mentally and in yourself if you don't challenge yourself to new things or experiment or try new things. Like for me, I did try a sociology lesson out, but it wasn't for me. So, and that's also okay to say no to things. If you try something you don't like it, you say no, you think, okay, it's fine, I've tried it, move on, find something you like instead. The new academic year does bring anxiety and worry, and especially around this time when you're thinking it's around the 2-3 week mark until we go back, and the fear of what could happen, the new change, but it's something we need to embrace. And for me, it's always good to bring a little what you want to change to the next year. So for me, it's about finding the right balance and giving myself enough break time so you don't burn out, essentially, which is so key for sixth form. For the amount of work you have, you need to be able to find that right balance. And I think it's probably really good for everyone to set their own resolutions and see what they want to do for the new year. Whether that be short-term ones, like even within the week, like you get this one piece of homework done, or you set yourself a plan of what you want to do, or if I do this, then I will bake a cake or something. It's just about finding the balance between rewarding yourself, relaxing, and working. Because if you work hard, you play hard later, and that's always something you live by. And it's just about reflecting on what happened last year. And for me, I think it was just not finding... I found a balance, but sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. So it's about adapting to what is going to work more for next year, and then actually seeing what you're excited for. For me, I'm excited to see the new year 12s, let's get more people into Exia, write new articles, record more podcasts, of course, record more radio shows, which I've still been doing over the summer, which has been quite a nice escape, and just gain more experience, because I've got some work experience lined up at the Norwich Evening News when I turn 18, and also becoming 18 is a massive thing. It's about just looking forward to what's to come and not being afraid of the unknown and embracing the change it will become. So as these next couple of weeks may roll through very quickly, just take a moment to think of what you want to put forward as your goal for next year and what you'd want to achieve coming up, whether it be short, medium or long term. Just put yourself aside some time to reflect and settle the worries and the anxieties before you start, so you walk in there, you feel confident and you're ready in yourself to start it. And I know for me, I'll be recording lots more podcast episodes for you all to listen to, whether that be on new things in the news or what I've just been listening to, or just a little break from it all and just having a laugh, because we all need it sometimes. It's just about not fearing the next new year and embracing it, going in it with your full motivation, determination, and just starting to enjoy it, because the change is going to happen. And it's exciting if you're starting a new sixth form, and it's exciting if you're going into year 13, because the reality of life is going to come and you can start looking at unis, you can start looking at what's to come next, and then you can embrace the new change whilst enjoying it still now. You're still learning your subjects, you're still with your friends, and looking forward to little things like Christmas will roll around quicker than we think, and we'll still have new things to learn, we'll go out with friends, more memories, and it's just about embracing the change rather than fearing it. And for me, change has always been hard, and it's something I really struggled with for a long time. But ever since starting to embrace it, it is an uncomfortable journey, and it's not a linear thing. It will be up and down constantly. But once you settle into that change and realise that it's something that we need to embrace, then future change and altering from your normal route will never feel uncomfortable again. And you'll start to be excited to want to try new things, and you'll discover new things, you'll become more curious. And it's something we also need to embrace. So I hope you enjoyed my little lifeline in a sense before we go back into school, and just realise that anxieties are normal, but we just need to realise that there's nothing that we need to worry about it, and the new year is something exciting and not something to worry about. So if you join me back in the new school year, when I'll be back with Lana and Earl and lots of new guests actually, which is quite exciting for new episodes, and I'll be thinking constantly about what I can record, any interviews I can do, and just seeing and adapting to the new CNS community. So I hope you've all had a lovely summer and enjoy the last couple of weeks, and we'll all be back for the new school year.